Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy E. Okay, well, today I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to film, or through some time, I'm gonna attempt to film one of the most, films that I've been wanting to film for quite some time. But obviously, with all the logistics and how to position camera and how to go through it conceptually and being able to break it down, it's a tough one. But nonetheless, I'm gonna try to attempt it. What I'm gonna do is this: I'm gonna film how to do double clutch. I'm gonna try to give you guys some pointers. I'm gonna share with you what I know, and I'm gonna do my best to take my time and allow this to be whatever part series that it might end up being, because I don't think I can squish it all within 15 minutes. So it's a rather simple process as soon as you get some experience. But in the very beginning, I'm like probably many of you, where I was lost. So I mean, really lost with the whole idea of double clutching, and just knowing that is essential to getting hired on with most of these companies. So going through a little quick story, but my journey through it was basically I heard of double clutch, but I couldn't quite fathom what the idea of double clutching was. I drove a standard car for a while, so I understood the idea of clutching, but when you said double clutch, I was like, what exactly is that? Well, that's where you press on the clutch pedal twice. Huh? So I was like, why would you push the clutch pedal twice? I didn't really quite understand it. And then obviously my venture into YouTube and looking around and trying to see if there's any instructionals on it. And the best I saw was like this. It looked like this. Like literally it was like, oh, double clutch. And I didn't quite get the idea. So I was just like, what is that? So anyways, but through my time, I've learned to pick it up. So a little side note was basically when I first went to orientation, I tested out on the truck, the examiner's truck. To first get hired on. Previous to that, I only had 2 hours experience with the double clutch, because I even tested out the DMV in the standard 6-speed. So it was quite a journey, but through practice and just really starting to analyze the tools on the truck and the tachometer, the speedometer, the approach, the shift patterns, like all these kind of things, and you start really analyzing it, and it just started making sense. And I mean, I don't know about you, but like me, I like breaking everything down to a science. So it's kind of like I know there's a formula, I know there's a way of doing it that's consistent, and if I just learn it, then I'll get better at it, and then eventually become seamless. So that's pretty much what's going to happen with you guys. In the very beginning, you'll stumble, you'll mess up, you'll grind, you'll stall to some degree. I mean, you might come to a dead halt, but at the end of the day, just give it time, understand what you're doing, and really double clutching is just a system of problem solving. Whenever you hear the grinding of the gear, it's basically telling you stop, figure it out, problem, and your job is to figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong? So in the very beginning, I'm going to show you guys just a couple patterns. I'm going to show you guys the tools of the truck and what I use, and then from there I'm going to probably step you through some stuff that kind of seems silly, but seriously, just do it anyways. If you're like me in the very beginning, you're probably watching this from home. So if you're watching it from home, do it like me, man. Sit in a chair at a desk and pretend you're in a truck, just until you get into an actual real truck, and then you can put all this stuff into use. But right now, all it's about is muscle memory and committing things to your memory, and realizing exactly what you're doing instead of just kind of guessing. So once you start committing some of this stuff to memorization, and you start breaking your body into maneuvering the way you want it to, you'll start to get it. Side note, it was kind of like, I picked up drumming for a minute, just a minute. I'm not like the best drummer, but the point is this: I couldn't get a simple 4-count pattern, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I mean, I could, for some reason, my hands just didn't want to work together. And what it took was the guy who was showing me how to drum, took my hands literally and was like, no, this. And the moment he took my hands, it's kind of weird, but I was like, the moment he took my hands, my body just got it. And then after that, I was like, oh, get off me, I got this. So I was drumming. But the point is basically, it's just muscle memory, and your body doesn't naturally move in certain ways, but you're gonna make it move and remember how to do things. And once you get that, you'll be good to go. So watch this video as many times as you need to understand it. But this is pretty much how to double clutch. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with some of the tools that we use. Okay, first and foremost, this video is going to be all formulated around an 8-speed. Technically, it's a 9-speed because you have a low gear, but we call, or its reference is an 8-speed. But this is pretty much the Cascadia Freightliner, and this is everything around this truck. But understand, you can take these formulas and you can pretty much manipulate them, and they fit pretty much anything. It's just a matter of, you know, some trucks have more gears. You know, you have, obviously, you have the 8s, and you have the 10s, and you have the Super 10s, and you have, you know, I don't know what else. At 13, I think I heard an 18. I mean, you have all kinds of crazy stuff out there, I'm sure. And of course those are going to be different, but this is primarily for an 8, which is I want to say the majority of the trucks that are, you know, the big companies are using. Swift, you know, use a lot of 8s. I know they have some 10s, but it just depends on what you're doing. If you're heavy hauling, you're probably going to roll a 10. If you're day cabbing, you'll probably roll a 10. But you know, majority are 8s. So this is the 8, and this is what it looks like. As you can tell, we have our H pattern. Okay, we have the reverse and the low, but right now we're going to ignore that for right now, and we're just going to focus on the shifting pattern. Okay, so as you can tell, we have low gears, high gears. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, split her up. Okay, and then we have 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so a couple things you want to know is this: a lot of people, when they're shifting, they panic and they happen to pull the shifter over, you know, far to the right, okay, towards their leg. Okay, and when you do that, as you can tell, that's when you're starting to get into the reverse and the low. We don't want to do that. Don't panic. What it gets down to is this: you're going to refer, this right here is neutral, okay, where you're not in any gear. What I'm going to call this right here is the resting position. Okay, when the clutch just moves around and stops, that's the resting position. Typically, you know, at least with this truck, is that resting position is automatically first gear and second gear. Okay, so if I'm shifting and everything, and I want to know where the wall is, this is a wall, and over here, this is a wall. Okay, so the two walls. Now, if I go past the wall, now I'm getting into, you know, the reverse and the low. So for the most part, when you're shifting, just look for the wall. So you have first gear, straight up, second gear, down, third gear, to the wall over here, fourth gear, split her up and over again, back to the resting position where the wall is, and that's where you get 5th, 6th, 7, 8. Okay. Now, I know it's a lot to kind of take in right now, but, you know, just repetition, you'll continue to get it. Let's go and put you up on this view right here, okay? And basically, you're going to watch me shift again, and the concept behind this now is not only do you got to go forward, but you got to go downshifting, right? You got to kind of climb back down the ladder. So this is what it kind of looks like, okay? You have your first, second, third, fourth. Split her up, 5th, 6th, 7, 8. Now you got to go downshift. So 8, 7, 6, 5. Split her down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I know it's a lot, honestly, but that's where the muscle memory is going to have to kind of come into play. Okay. So let's see if I can kind of give you a better view. It's basically first, second, third, fourth, split her up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now let's go backwards, back down the ladder. So we're in 8, 7, 6, 5, split her down, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now practice that a couple more times. Repetition, repetition, repetition. I know it's kind of weird, but just do it anyways, and let's commit that to memory. Let's move on to the next move. Okay, here we have our gauges. We have our tachometer and we have our speedometer. Okay, now the important things you want to note about this is simply this: when you're very beginning, you want to more or less focus on the tachometer. And the reason why is because you know, you don't quite know the speeds yet for the gears, but you'll learn those. Okay. Now the idea is this: the lower gears, 1, 2, 3, 4, typically are fast paced. Fourth will only take you to 20 miles an hour. Okay, and then it'll be at around 15 to 16 RPM. So that, as you can tell, going through 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be boom, 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 boom. Okay, like that. It's just fast. And you're going to climb. So you got to be ready to move. You got to be ready to clutch, neutral, clutch, shift, clutch, neutral, clutch, shift, clutch, neutral, clutch, shift. You have to be, you know, you have to be committed to knowing what you're doing, and you're going to go through those gears rather fast. Okay, let's say we start out in third gear because we're on a light load. Basically, third gear will get you from 0 to 15. Then you want to go ahead and shift to fourth. Fourth gear will get you to 20. You shift to 5. 5 will get you to 25. Then you shift to 6. 6 will get you to about 35, 40. And then you shift to 7. 7 will get you to 55. Then you shift to 8. 8 will take you all the way until you cap out. So I'll go and show you that one more time. Let's say we start in third. Third will get you to 15. You shift to 4. 4 will get you to 20. You shift to 5. 5 will get you to 25. You shift to 6. 6 will get you to 35, 40. Then you shift to 7. 7 will get you to 55. Then you shift to 8. 8 will take you until you cap out. Okay? And the reason why that's so much to memorize, and that's why I tell you to ignore this part and to get on that tachometer, is because the tachometer is simple. It's basically anytime you approach the 15 to 16 mark, you want to upshift. Okay, it's that simple. So no matter what gear you are, it's like, okay, you're almost tapped out. You gotta upshift. And the same concept. Now, downshifting works this way. Whenever you're downshifting, you're at the 15 or 16 mark, and you start losing the RPM. Once you get to around 10, you need to be ready to downshift. Once you hit that 10 mark, you want to downshift. It's that simple. Okay, so what you do to downshift is that clutch neutral, you rev it to 15, and then you clutch gear. Okay, so basically you lower to 10, rev it back up to 15, and pop it in the lower gear. Okay, so upshifting, you climb to 15, upshift. Downshifting, you drop down to 10, you rev it to 15, and you upshift. Okay, that's simple. You guys can do it. Yeah, in the very beginning when you're learning, you know, you can turn off the Jake, and you can lay off the tractor brake. Those are just to help you, slow down. Now you want to start incorporating all these tools together because, as you start running into different scenarios and maybe cars cutting in front of you and you got to be able to, back off your speed, those things will help you drop RPMs really quick. But, once again, once you're about to approach that 10, you gotta shift. So anytime that you go below that 10, you'll start to stutter. Okay, the truck has a voice. Okay, a lot of times it'll tell you that's a drag. That basically says downshift. Dang it! If you hear that means hey, upshift. So it has a voice. You'll start to hear it. Primarily you don't want to go any higher than maybe 17. 17's, pretty much the top speed on the RPM. When I mean 17, I mean this. As you drive, you'll see that, you're here and you'll go up and that's when you want to shift. Or you're here, you go, that's when you want to downshift. So pardon the expressions, but that's real life. That's what happens. Yeah, that's the noises it makes, and you got to learn them. So then you know what's going on. Okay. If you start grinding, you want to start asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? And then you'll start, understanding. Okay, ooh, I'm going too slow. I got to downshift, or I'm going to, it's at the top level. I got to upshift, and you'll start getting those ideas. Alright, you guys, well, I hope you enjoyed part 1 so far. Once again, committed to memory. Make sure that you practice everything that you saw in the video, and that's a pretty good start. Stay tuned, part 2 is coming up right now.